Shano. We are going to get into the monumental collapse from Shane Lowry this past weekend, the Cognizant Classic at the Palm Beaches. Great golf course, overall decent tournament from where it started during the early last week and what we talked about to where it ended up. Decent watch. We're going to talk about Casey Jarvis winning on the DP World Tour, going back to back, and then talk about Alistair Docherty and his story, getting back to the Korn Ferry Tour and now being a Korn Ferry Tour winner. All of that plus Mulligan Monday. All right, let's tee it up. Big Drive Energy Monday edition. It's late on a Monday. Shout out Mitchell and his casino trip, pushing it back. But, we're just here for the people. We're here for the people. We're going to talk about the choke of the Irish. Poor old Shane Lowry, man. Let's get into the weekend first, and then we'll talk about how good our weekends were, if they were good, and then we can talk about how bad Shane Lowry's was.
How are you doing, Pally? How's the young lad? We haven't talked good. That much, all things considered. So what was his actual birthday? This might be a faux pas on my part, but what day was he actually born?
February 19th. So he's 8 days old, or no, he's 10 days old today.
Maybe. Oh yeah, 2nd of March. 11 days old.
11 days old. So almost 2 weeks.
He's the youngest he's ever going to be. And also the oldest as of right now.
The youngest he's ever going to be again, and the oldest he's ever been today. 11 days old.
Hot damn. How's he doing? Has he opened his eyes? Like, what's that scenario?
Yeah, his eyes are opening fairly consistently now. It's not as much as I would have thought, I guess. I don't know. It seems like he doesn't
like a
open
little
his eyes
puppy. He just sleeps a lot.
Yeah, well, sleeps and cries and eats. This kid eats like a fucking freight train. He just wants the milk all the time. Just absolute milkman, like the sickos on Twitter.
Oh, well, that's good. I mean, does it look like he has dark hair? Because your other son is very blonde, it doesn't really look like you from an eye and hair color perspective. Like facially, he looks like you, but not feature wise. So I don't know if Stetson is going to look more like you, less like you. What's the vibe?
He does have dark hair right now. He's kind of got a little horseshoe going. Poor guy. He's got a lot in the back and the sides.
Smith hairline.
A lot in the back and the sides. Not so much going on top. But I think that if I read this correctly or heard this correctly or remember from my first kid, which I don't remember shit from 2.5 years ago, it appears, is their hair, they actually lose their hair. And then they grow it back. Like it's not like they just have their same hair from when they're kids. Like they get their hair kind of either they lose it or it changes color. Like nothing for a newborn when you start out is the way that it is forever. Like his eyes right now are kind of just like a really dark, not like a full-on pupil black, but you can tell where his pupils are, and then the rest of it out around that is kind of brown.
He has massive pupils, by the way. Like, kind of freaks me out.
Yeah, he hasn't opened his eyes enough to like me to get a good look at him. Plus, he's like I'm dealing with Sawyer so much now that it's not. I don't deal with this potato a ton. I don't hold him a ton, but he definitely prefers his mom over me 100%.
Right when Stetson was born, it's like, Sawyer, get ready to learn dad, buddy. Just a lot of dad. I mean, that kind of works out for both of you guys. I think that you enjoy Sawyer's company. I think he enjoys your company for the most part. Better yet, how are you doing? You've been on paternity leave, correct? That's what it's called?
It is, yes.
How is that going? Are you getting some cabin fever?
I'm getting a little bit of cabin fever, but I've gotten out. I played some golf last week, I want to say. Walked a little niner. I think we talked about that. I took Sawyer out to the store today, so I'm not fully home. It's weird because being home on the weekends doesn't really bother me. Like if I know it's a Saturday or Sunday, there's
Yeah, you said this on
sports
the
on
pod
all
last
day.
week. During the week.
Okay.
Yeah, during the
Yeah.
week you like lose your shit.
Right. Yeah. Like being home on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's just weird for me. But overall, it's been pretty good. Luckily, since I don't do a ton of the night stuff, I've actually gotten to sleep a little bit more. I did have
Your sleeping's actually improved.
yeah, I did have a wandering scenario the other night where my wife asked me to go get a new sleep sack and new pajamas, and I walked out into the kitchen and I went back into the room with nothing. And I said, "What?" I was like, "What did I need to get again?" I just didn't bring any of that in. So I don't know what it is with me. I feel like I can sleep for not a long time and be good. Like you've always known that about me, right? That I
Yeah,
I
psycho.
getting little sleep. Not really like that, but I really feel like I can do a lot with minimal sleep. But when that minimal amount of sleep, if that gets broken up and I don't sleep for like 6 hours straight, 5, 6 hours straight, I'm a complete zombie. And maybe
Yeah,
I
you're
that,
the
but
razor thin margin there.
I feel like I'm completely out of it when I'm not sleeping for 5 to 6 hours straight. So that 2 p.m. or excuse me, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. wake up when I'm even just changing a diaper or just waking up because he woke up and I don't really even have to do anything. I don't even know what year it is, what day it is, where I am. I'm a total worthless piece of shit.
Yeah, so you can survive on 5-6 hours sleep. I think I slept about 5 hours last night, and I woke up and went to the casino and went to the simulator, and I am fucking dog tired. Like,
Our
and
Mondays have been so different. It's
yeah, oh
unbelievable.
yeah, a little different out views on life. But I could not fall asleep last night. I ended up turning on the TGL. The TGL was on late as shit.
I watched
Um,
that. My wife fell asleep, and so I watched that from like she's like, you can put on whatever you want, and there was nothing on that I really wanted to watch.
mhm.
And YouTube TV suggested the TGL. I was like, all right, we'll fire this up, and it was actually pretty fun. The chip off. Did you watch the chip off?
No, I was asleep before that. It kind of it's great for putting me to sleep. Like normal PGA Tour golf for most people puts them to sleep. I'm like locked in at that point. But you throw the TGL on, I'm out. You know, I not like I won't watch it as in I'm gonna go to sleep. It's gonna make me tired. It was a decent watch, don't get me wrong, but I ended up falling asleep about 11 a.m. or I'm sorry, 11 p.m. And then I woke up at 4 a.m. and my alarm was set for like 6:45 to go to the casino because my buddy's a psychopath. Um, and I wake up at 6:45, Missy's still asleep, and I was like, "What the fuck am I even doing here?" Like, I haven't woke up this early in months, just on the accord of going to the casino. But the idea is you get there before the locals get there. We went to I forget what the casino's called, but we went to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and we did break out in song. Christ
The
was
same,
born in Bethlehem.
yeah, I was gonna say the same Bethlehem of the man JC up top.
Yeah, the big JC was born in Eastern Pennsylvania. But I really was not aware that I have a casino about an hour away from me to the west. And it really is truly not that bad. It's kind of a big warehouse type of feel. And it's also odd because it's in the middle of a bunch of rundown um, old factories. Like it's in a odd location. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, I wouldn't necessarily say is popping. It kind of reminded me of somewhat of a Rust Belt type of town that looked like it peaked about 100 years ago and has slowly declined since then. But they're like, let's throw a fucking casino in the middle of this, stir up some shit. So it actually kind of started to get busy. But ironically enough, like we wanted to play craps and they didn't open a table until 10 o'clock. And my buddy that wanted to get there at 8:30 goes, why the fuck do we get here so early? And he's just that kind of clown. I'm like, fuck you, dude. So we ended up playing, we played blackjack. I'll just give you a quick synopsis, kind of like your shot by shot. I'll give you a quick rundown. Um,
Gambo.
Oh, I gamble. I'm a big
Gamble.
Oh yeah. Are you
Slot.
Sawyer saying
Craps.
gamble?
Blackjack. No, that guy that I sent you, that UFC fighter. What are you going to
Oh
do with all your
yes.
winnings? Gamble.
Pretty on brand. It also sounds
That's
like Sawyer, which is ironic. But started at a blackjack table. The vibes were low. Vibes were very low.
Well, yeah, it's 8:30 on a Monday morning. Of
Well,
course, they're fucking low.
no, that's not true. I mean, the dealer sets the tone. If you have a good dealer who's ready to be there, and I'm the type of guy, I've said this on the pod, but I'll tip the dealer early and not generally often, but not necessarily often, depending on how it's going. And it was going pretty bad because I walked in with $450. It was just kind of the cash I scraped around from around here. I was like, I don't even know what I didn't want to go to the ATM and spend it $20 on pulling out like $200.
Cash you got from these hate betting against our Nuggets yesterday.
That wasn't even, that's still, I did cash some of that out, but I'll mention that after. So the first blackjack table, I lose a quick $200 in probably 40 minutes, and I'm like, wow, this day's going like dog shit. This is not
what are the table mins at 8:30 a.m. on a Monday in
this
Bethlehem,
table.
Pennsylvania?
It was $10 mins, which
okay.
And then they were immediately, and they're ruthless as fuck, because I asked him, they said limits went up at noon to 15, and I'm like, you gonna grandfather us in, just kind of joking. And they're like, there's no casino within an hour here. We don't need to keep you here. Like, you're going to stay here no matter what the table minimums are. So
you're not walking to another casino. You have to take a borderline fucking flight to get to another casino.
Exactly. The dealer straight up was like, in Vegas, they grandfather you in because they want to keep you there. Here, we have no competition, so we will absolutely up the limits on you, no problem. And I was like, oh, well, good to know. Thank you for your transparency. So lose a couple $100 there. And then we're still waiting for the craps table to open. We still had like 40 minutes. And my buddy Curtis is over at this $25 minimum blackjack table, which I'm like, oh, fuck. I can just burn through all my money right here if it keeps going the way it felt like it was going. But he told me that the dealer's vibes were good, and they were. And on 25 min blackjack, I made like $400, and we just could not lose a hand. It was one of those where, he would show a 6, he'd go big. It was just like clockwork. Like, it felt like how it should work and never does. When you just envision the perfect blackjack scenario, you're like, holy shit, this is perfect. So tipped him, probably $40-$50. Great vibes, good dude. Then we went to the craps table, and there was this I swear, if you can just pick an old dude with like no hair that doesn't give a single shit at the end of the table and get him to roll, you're going to have a pretty good time. Because this guy rolled twice for probably a combined, nothing like crazy, but probably a combined 45 minutes to an hour. So he had 2 pretty damn good rolls and probably made us each at least a few $100. We had a lot out on the table. We ate some 7s here and there, but this dude, when the dice got to him, I just had the vibes were on point. He actually rolled the tall, and he was the 2 away from the all.
Oh, wow.
So he was very, very close multiple times. So the craps went pretty well. And at that point, I was up like $450, and I was ready to call it, but I didn't realize that my buddy Curtis, this is the first time we've gone to the casino. And let me tell you this, if you really want to know somebody, go to a casino with them, because the worst version of themselves will come out. It's either on the golf course, on a boys trip.
Let me clue the audience in. If you haven't been to a casino with young Migs over here, if the dealer's vibes are bad, he's losing 100% of the time, and then he's angry, and it's the dealer's fault. And if he's winning, the dealer's vibes are good. Basically, the dealer controls his life. She could have the worst vibes, but just be handing him winning over winning, and Mitchell would hate it because they're not good vibes. Mitchell is the most vibey gambler, and also the most just cannot shake off losses from gambling. You got that from Mom.
I'll say this.
You'll at least gamble, you'll at least gamble. But when you lose, it's like a full on. I'm like waiting
I
to
get
go to the
how you
ATM so I can, send it, like get back in the ATM and send it and go back and fight my way back to zero. And you're just sitting there stewing about how you lost a hand of blackjack that put you out or whatever.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're familiar with gambling at all, you know that the number one thing you shouldn't do is chase your losses. And Spencer loves to do that. Your typical degenerate gambler loves to chase and chase and chase. And I am just kind of not that way. But what I will say is that if the dealer's vibes are good and I'm losing, I can at least live with that. But the way I look at a casino ultimately is it's entertainment. I'm there to have fun because I don't expect to win money. And the dealer should be there. And, unfortunately, there's a lot of dealers similar to like servers, bartenders that probably shouldn't be in the customer service industry. I guess it was kind of slim pickings when, picking jobs came up for them. And realistically, in this town, there's not a whole lot of industry outside of the casino, I would imagine. But they are just wet blankets that completely shit on your time. And I ultimately believe that you can will cards. Like, I wouldn't call myself the most religious person. I believe in God, but there's a little bit of a gray area. But I 100% think that you can, what is the word? Oh, manifest. I think I can manifest cards in the deck. And when the vibes are good, it's like the power of friendship. Me and the dealer, we vibe out and we combine our powers to get good cards. Whereas when the dealer sucks, I want to jump across the table and punch them. My buddy Curtis was losing his shit. Other buddy Dan, shout out Dan. He had a little bit of a rough day, and there's so many different ways a gambling day can go. Like Dan was down almost 1,000, and then he made like 500 back. And so he kind of felt like he won, even though he's down 500. But then Curtis felt like he got crushed because at one point on the craps table, he was up probably close to 1,000 and walked with like $100 extra in his pocket. So there's the duality of the different casino trips.
Well,
But
it's like golf, dude.
yeah,
If somebody told you, everybody has their different level of what they think they should shoot or what they feel good about shooting. But no matter what you feel good about shooting, let's say I feel good about shooting 72 or let's say 70, let's say even par 70 at my home course, Inverness. Shout out Inverness Golf Club. Somebody tells me I'm going to shoot 70 there. I could have the greatest 70 of my life where I'm 6 over through the first 8 holes, and then I end up shooting like 30 on the back and shooting 70, and I think it's the greatest thing ever. Or I could be 2 under par going into 17, bogey 17, bogey 18, and shoot 70 and be livid. So it's the same way with gambling. Like you have to, if you take your end result and then you just forget about everything that happened in between, you can be happy or sad with the same result.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And so ultimately, I would say between the three of us, we kind of came out even. Luckily, I was on the positive side of that. Not everyone was so lucky. I walked out of there with a few extra bucks in my pocket, so that was nice. And then we came back, hit the simulator for a couple hours, played Troubadour in Tennessee and Nashville, and I think I shot 4 under par, so not bad relative for a simulator. We did change the settings to you got to hit it inside of 10 feet for a birdie instead of like auto by handicap. So actually a pretty solid round considering I was just stuffing everything inside of 10 feet. But my handicap is too low on the track, man. I think it's like plus 6.5. So it's saying I'm shooting like net 74s when I'm shooting gross 68. I don't think that matches up to where my golf game is. So overall, it was a great day. I'm pretty like worn out. When you're just on sensory overload, and casinos just do that to me. All the noises, the lights, the sounds, the people. I just am on overload, which is relative for me because I love being around people, and I'm a pretty loquacious person. Big word, but I am just ready to chill and do nothing.
Yeah, no, I feel that. The casino, I haven't been in a while, it feels like, but it feels like if you go in the morning, The last time I went in the morning, I think, was when I went on that family vacation with my wife's family last summer, and they all went to the creamery, and I went to the casino. But it was like middle of the day, and then afterwards, you're kind of in this mental haze of not really realizing where you are, what time it is, and the casino
Yes.
just eats you up like that.
Yeah, it was 10:30 in the morning today, and I felt like it could have been 2 a.m. or it could have been, 5 in the afternoon. It just is a crapshoot. But overall, it was a pretty solid experience. I don't expect to win going forward. I never expect to win when I go into a casino. So when I walk out, I basically feel like I found $850 in my pocket, because when I walked in there, I thought I was at zero. So I think that's the best way for people to have fun is if they just expect to lose everything. And I do play relatively conservative. I mean, I wouldn't say crazy conservative. I bet the numbers on the craps table. I'll double down on blackjack in the right spots. I'll split eights. I'm not throwing $5 out there and tightening my asshole. And I will say that our mom is pretty frugal and kind of instilled that in us as children. So I always think of mom like being like, "Oh, you could have bought how much groceries with this one hand of blackjack." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck, mom. You got to set some aside for entertainment." But yeah, I could have had a worse day at the casino, but I am dog tired. And that's just, I don't know how you have kids, how you operate. That's good for you, dude.
Yeah, you just don't go to the casino and the sim on a Monday. I spent the morning grocery shopping and chasing a child around and playing in the backyard. That's what I spent my
That doesn't
Monday
sound
doing.
that bad.
No, I loving every minute.
Loved every minute. I got a couple quick topics before we hop into golf. I think I've narrowed down what my favorite type of video is on the internet.
Okay.
Have you seen the TikToks or Instagram videos where people unclog dams that were built by beavers and like
Uh,
tear them down and open up a river that's been dry for, a decade?
no, you're gonna have to fire some of those my way because I do enjoy that
So
same realm.
satisfying.
Sometimes the thing that sucks about the internet nowadays, you never know what's real and what's AI. But I can definitely get into like some pimple videos or some videos where people like pull ridiculous stuff out of somebody's ears. Kind of the
Ingrown
same.
hairs are also a good one as well, where you're pulling like 6 feet of hair out of somebody's little one hair follicle. That shit's pretty wild. And also just drain unclogging videos. Absolutely fire. That is like my autistic thing. Everyone's kind of got their thing where I could just watch people unclog drains. I would do that shit for free. Maybe I need to start a YouTube page and just walk around when it's raining out and unclog drains, because
Just find
I
drains to unclog.
I personally find that shit very satisfying. I also saw, how there's all these golf burner accounts on Twitter now, on X. I saw the best name for a burner account that I've ever seen, that I came across either this morning or yesterday. His name is Hung JM instead of Sung JM. So that's
I
pretty
love
fucking
that.
good. Yeah. Big Dick Sun JM, who he's back, by the way, this week. I guess he's playing in the Arnold Palmer, I would assume.
Yep, Bay
'Cause
Hill.
yeah,
Sunjay Tracker is all about that.
I saw
He's
that.
back in.
And also, last thing on the TGL, did you see Tiger walking around? Like, he's not moving well. They're talking about not ruling out the Masters unless you're going full Casey Martin with your golf cart, which I don't think they allow at Augusta. He is not getting around there because he could hardly move on artificial turf with no elevation change.
Yeah, well, what was interesting that I saw yesterday is I saw it on Twitter that somebody said, "Oh, Tiger Woods is coming back to TGL tonight and gonna play, and that's going to be the ramp up or announcement for him officially saying he's going to play in the Masters." And then he wasn't even. I don't know. Like I love Tiger, and I will. He is appointment television for me still, and got me into the game of golf. So I can never really poo poo him as an athlete and what he meant to me personally in a golf life, and what he meant to a lot of golf fans out there, because anybody our age has probably got into golf either partially because of Tiger or fully because of Tiger. But the idea that he goes to these TGL matches as part of a team and just kind of walks around like a captain at a Ryder Cup it's absurd to me. I do not understand it one bit. I would not be doing that if I was him. I've considered, like, I want to caddy for you again. Like, you're going to go, do some US Open locals. Then when we get to the US Open at Shinnecock, I'll be caddying for you. I'm really stoked for that.
I would shoot 8 million at Shinnecock. That is one of the hardest US Open courses. I would not, if I broke 90 both days, I would consider that a win.
Yeah. Well, either way, I would like to caddy for you again, I think, at some point, because it is
either way
kind of fun. And I think I would be much better at it now because we've learned through not a lot of tribulation, but a lot of trial.
You've learned how to not be an absolute dickhead.
Yeah. I just feel like I could do well for you, caddy.
Yeah, you could be helpful at this point.
I don't like watching people play golf. I don't like watching people do anything. Maybe that might change when my kid
maybe
gets
you
older.
Should be a casino dealer, because a lot of them seem to have the exact same feelings.
I do think being a dealer at a casino, if that was my job, I think I would gamble a lot less. I'd be like it'd either be that, or it'd be like the first 4 weeks of my job, I'd get off shift and go sit at a table and gamble away everything I just made in a 10-hour shift.
Like, you're dealing at a craps table, and then you just slide in next to the guy that you were just dealing for. You're like, move over, bro.
Yeah, I do this, and then I fucking pull it in my pocket and get
like this dude throws you like $10 in a tip, and you just rotate right to the other side of the table. You're like, I'll get that on the hard 8, please.
Just put it immediately down. Just slide all the chips from the house over to one of the playable spots and just sit there.
100%, dude. Absolutely. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't necessarily enjoy watching other people play golf, especially if it's indoor golf. And I think at this point in our lives, everybody's watched the PGA Tour, but we're by no means world beaters at golf, but we've seen a high enough level of golf where nothing really amazes us unless something really sticks out. Like you have 190 plus ball speed, but if you're just that standard, and standard is a relative term, but if you're a standard PGA Tour pro with like 180 ball speed, I don't know. I do appreciate how guys can swing so hard and hit it so straight. Everybody but Shane Lowry, because he swung not that hard and hit it really fucking crooked. But there's a lot of guys out there, because, for instance, not to drag you through the mud, but you swing it hard, you can get up to like close to 120 miles an hour clubhead speed. I feel like I have no clue where your ball is going at any given time. And these guys hit the amount of fairways that I hit swinging as hard as you swing. So that is where I honestly commend their game and just the mental side of the game too. But that really doesn't show up on a stat sheet. It's more like, how are you not just MFing the entire hole right now after you made a dog shit double where you should have made birdie? Like Shane Lowry, for example, do you just want to get into Shane Lowry? I think that was all my notes on everything else.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get into the collapse of all collapses. If you're listening to this pod and you didn't see it, I apologize for you, because it's just something that you did not feel coming at all. And that's something you don't see from a guy like Shane Lowry, but he made back-to-back double bogeys for the first time in his literal golfing career, which is, 15 years, probably his professional career, 12, 15 years. And never has he ever made back-to-back double bogeys. And he does it with a 3-shot lead, going from, I believe he was minus 3,000 to win the tournament to plus 2,200 within 2 holes. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was an all-time, evening of the score, I would almost say, because he had some breaks early in the round that were pretty wild. And unfortunately, similar to what we talked about earlier with rounds of golf, you start off hot and then you cool off, or vice versa. You start off cold and then you heat up. As a better player, the mean will always kind of find itself. if you're a guy that generally shoots 75, sure, some days you're going to shoot 72, some days you're going to shoot 80. But generally speaking, you're going to, if you're 5 or 6 under on a day, you're going to find somewhere probably closer to even par or something like that. Not even, but you know what I mean? Everything kind of finds its level. And Shane Lowry seems so hot. That is truly the craziest part for me, because as a PGA Tour player, you'd think that they'd be able to ride that momentum, but you could tell he really started to kind of steer it a little on those last few holes, and probably the worst stretch of holes on the PGA Tour that you could worry about hitting the ball right on. I think you might need a dozen balls just to play those 3 holes, because there's just nothing but water over there.
Well, did you see, I missed who it was, but did you see the guy that hit the ball so far right? He was in the backyard of that house.
Yes.
I kind of was like, I wasn't listening to the golf at that point, but I saw him hit it so far right. He missed the entire right rough, missed the entire lake, pond, whatever you want to call it.
So I think that was on 16, the par 3.
Yes.
And which is impressive, but it was funny because Missy and I had the Nuggets in the golf double boxed on YouTube. Shout out to your YouTube TV for that. But we were listening to the Nuggets and I was watching the Nugs, and then I look up and I'm like, holy shit, he hit it that far right. But then Shane Lowry steps up, and when I say that both the balls he hit in the water never had a chance of seeing dry land, it was not even close. And Missy goes, this is like your wet dream right now. I'm like, yes, like, because I bet on Nico Echavarria before the round. I bet on him and Taylor Moore, which ironically were both teammates at Arkansas. They got arrested together.
I thought that was AI.
No, that's real.
It's real though. I know it's real, but I
legitimately. Do you know what they got arrested for?
They got arrested for videotaping someone doing somebody drunk doing something, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
That's illegal in Arkansas. That feels like that's the only thing there is to do there.
Well, I guess I shouldn't like poo-poo it that it's so like nonchalant. I guess it was a girl, and I don't know what she was doing.
You talking something sexual?
Potentially. I didn't read too much into it, but I legit thought that was just AI, because it was 2 guys at the top of the leaderboard on a Sunday. Look it up, maybe get some more info. But yeah, there was some sort of videotaping of somebody that wasn't consenting to videotaping, and they got arrested for it. Real quick, while you're finding that, I'll pull up. This was one of the better tweets from Shane Bacon yesterday. This is every tee shot hit at 16 this entire week, and Shane Lowry is this white ball here at the bottom. Hey, I mean, dude, an all-time just fumble of the bag from his caddy. I don't know. Like, who do we place this blame
on? Yes. I mean, ultimately Shane is swinging the club, but the fact that he just took his foot so far off the gas when you hit an iron, and I'd assume, if I had to guess, that iron shot off the tee came somewhere off of the inside of the golf club. I don't think that sniffed the toe. I think that was at heel city all day, because that was starting right and going viciously right. Yes, they've been okay. So this is 2015. Taylor Moore and Nico Echavarria have been suspended indefinitely from competition following their arrest for allegedly taking sexually explicit photos of an intoxicated woman. Okay, that's a little more serious. That's not very funny. I did not know that the correct term for it is voyeurism. Not.
Yeah, I kept seeing that word yesterday on Twitter.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Yeah. Okay, so
they frame mogged her.
Yeah, that's she recalled seeing flashes of light and suspected Moore had taken pictures. Yeah, kind of fucked up. Okay, so not really something to joke about, but they were teammates at Arkansas. Woo pig. If
kids will be kids.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bit much. Hopefully I would assume they learned their lesson. But back to Shano. That first one was definitely off near the hosel of the club for sure. And then the second one,
and I texted you, and this is just probably how his day was going, but I texted you that he hit one off the heel like 10 feet off the ground. I think they were calling it a top on the broadcast with his driver 4 holes earlier. And I'm not going to derail you, but when you were talking about kind of Shane's and thinking about his round yesterday and how it finished up, is it not almost exactly a little bit worse, but almost exactly like Hideki at Waste Management? Making long par putts at the beginning, you're up, you're feeling like you're going to win, but you're holding on and you just know something's going to go wrong at some point. It's like the exact same thing.
Yes, but what I would say the difference was Hideki had a 1-shot lead, and
Shane's is way worse. Yes, Shane's is way worse because Hideki got in the playoff, but the same concept where Hideki shouldn't have even. I mean, realistically, Shane should have been tied for the lead ish by the 7th or 8th hole with how he was hitting it. And then he makes eagle on the back 9 early, and you're like, oh, he's going to dominate this thing. And I was regretting not having a Shane Lowry ticket. And
yes, you texted me like, I'm such a fucking idiot for not taking Shane Lowry this week.
Well, and even in the one and done, the ticket would have pissed me off. The one and done, I would have been like annoyed, but it's, a couple $100,000 for, if it's a signature event and you miss out on a one and done by that collapse, you're pissed. On a regular PGA Tour event, you're not as pissed losing a one and done that way because he still made you a ton of money. But oh my God, I would have if I would have had Shane Lowry this week.
Oh yeah, that was an all-time bad beat. I did see this dude tweet. Shane Lowry's a human, and I feel bad for him, but I feel like he owes me $20,000 for. And that is funny, but people like that betting on Shane Lowry to win a golf tournament is like reading that "Do not drink this bleach" sticker on a bleach set. Like, it is truly survival of the fittest. It's what is it called? Where you're thinning the herd, your natural selection.
Oh yeah.
If you have a Shane Lowry ticket to win any golf tournament individually, where he's not teammates with Rory McIlroy, you deserve to lose that bet. Like, it doesn't matter how many strokes he's up by with how many holes left. It's pretty clear at this point that you're subjecting yourself to a day of disappointment and sadness. So, but what I do want to give credit to, or who I do want to give credit to, is Nico Echavarria, because he played a really good final round, capped off with that tee shot on the 17th, which was unbelievable. Hits it to about 10 feet below the hole, which I don't know if anybody planned on hitting it there. But another thing I will say as well is I think that wind coming off of 16, 17, 18 was stronger up above. And that's where the players are kind of at a disadvantage with these stands all around, other than the fact that they can blow it into the stands and get a free drop and all this bullshit that I disagree with. But you can't feel the wind when it's actually happening in real time. So on the ground, it probably feels like a breath of 5 to 7 miles an hour. And above that, it's 15. And I mean, Shane's was not good anyways, but then it legitimately landed 15 yards into the water, just not close. And I immediately got up on my feet. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you do it once, shame on you. Do it twice, shame on everyone else for thinking that, you wouldn't fucking do it again. But I just could not believe. And also, the one last thing on Shane Lowry, he is a very traditionally an open face player. He plays with a relatively neutral to open club face. He has to really release the club. That's when you see when he's swinging driver well, when he's swinging irons well, everything is working hard up around him to square that face up because he's a natural cutter of the ball. So his path is kind of squaring the face. But if he's swinging it inside out at all or not rotating and kind of getting stuck with those hips, kind of what I like to call effing the dog a little bit. If he F's the dog like he did on that tee shot on 16, that ball is starting right, going right, doesn't have a chance. So it was just kind of the perfect storm for him. And did you see the video of him like waving off the cameras on 16T right after he hits one in the water? See, and I don't really hate Shane Lowry that much, but that shit made me annoyed. Like, you don't get to dictate now what where the cameras are because you hit one in the water. What do you need? Your privacy and your time at the drop area. You're leading the tournament. The cameras are going to follow you. You just shit the bed, hit probably the worst shot of your life, given the circumstances. And the cameras are all about it. This is TV. This is entertainment, so that really turned me off, because I've never been a big Shane Lowry hater, but that kind of swayed it for me, where the whole previously he hits a good shot. He's all chummy. He's smiling. He's talking to his playing partner. All of a sudden shit goes crooked and he doesn't want any cameras. He's like, get the paparazzi out of my face. That's not how it works, pal.
Yeah, that it was a little sad to see him act that way, because you want to believe that we kind of talked about it. I was going back through our pod on Wednesday and talking about him and seeing if I could find something clippable. We kind of just rambled on and had different good moments at different points. And I'm not good enough at cutting clips.
That's kind of our entire podcast. There's a good point, and then we prolong it for another 3 minutes after that.
Yeah, exactly. And we were kind of shitting on him and talking about how, there's our buddy Eric hates him. There's a lot of Americans that obviously hate him from the Ryder Cup scenarios. But overall, I don't think he's not a bad dude. He's not loud enough and funny enough to be like a Tyrrell Hatton. He's in this weird middle ground where him throwing fits, he's good enough to where it can piss other people off, but he's not funny enough. And maybe just hasn't been mic'd up enough like a Tyrrell Hatton to make it people be like, oh my God, this guy's just an absolute blowhard. He's in this weird realm of what people think of him and his golf game, that whenever he acts a certain way, it kind of just pushes you towards, oh, he's an asshole. And when he's leading the tournament, like you said, and gets the cameras on him and waves him off as he's got I think it was as he had a 3-shot lead at that point still. He was obviously going to lose part of that because of his golf shot, his tee shot in 16. But yeah, you don't want to see that from them. Like you realize, you take it back and think, okay, they are human. I get it. But at the same time, he's been around enough and had a, veteran golf PGA Tour career, been on full swing, won a major, all that stuff. You got to be able to just kind of handle it in that moment. And I wonder if that shot on 16, do you know what club he hit there? Because it seemed like he hit an iron, or it was just like laying it way back. And from what I heard on the broadcast, they were like, driver at 16 has been the play for everyone all week.
Yeah. Yeah. It seemed like a bad club choice, compounded with a horrible swing. Because if you look at that dispersion chart, no ball, and granted, he mishit it severely. If he squares that up, it's probably still further back, but it's not as far back as that. And the graphic shitting on him, where they got out a ruler and measured the 25 yards between where his ball landed and the right edge of the fairway with an iron, is just shitting on him while really kicking him while he's down. But I enjoyed it. But yeah, all the Shane Lowry takes are just confirmation bias. If you already hate him, then what he did yesterday just makes you hate him more, and also enjoy that he shit his pants. But if you love him, you feel even worse for him. You feel like he got done dirty, like the wind really hosed him. And another part of the conditions yesterday was the wind did pick up towards the end of the day. And that's sometimes, traditionally speaking, the wind is softer in the mornings than it is in the afternoon to evening time. So the later you play, the harder it's going to be. And that was kind of the case. But overall, I don't know if Shane recovers from this. He may not win a PGA Tour event ever. And similar to talking Rory winning majors, Shane's kind of at that point in his career, I feel like, where if he wins a PGA Tour event ever again, that's a big accomplishment in my opinion, because he has seen heartbreak over heartbreak. And who was the guy last year who we felt like, Tommy Fleetwood has been the quintessential one who's broken through that glass ceiling per se. But I feel like Shane Lowry's bumped his head up against it so many times and just keeps getting knocked down further and further that I don't know if he's ever going to jump up and touch that again. Maybe he needs to go the Tony Finau route and play some alternate field events. Because let's just put it this way. The field this week was not the strongest. he was the odds-on favorite with Ryan Gerard, who, by the way, fuck him.
He ended up finishing pretty decent, right?
My buddy, he finished like T22, or T32, one of the two. But where's my Twitter guy that apparently he was on Ryan Gerard as well and was just MFing him the entire weekend too. So I don't know if this dude's tailing me or we're both just taking obvious picks that end up not doing well, which, there's a good possibility of the latter.
He's got to be tailing you, dude. He sees Big Bet Energy not go out on Twitter because you'd ever put it out on Twitter anymore. But he sees it through our show, and then it picks him for the Ryan Gerard MFs him all week.
Yeah, and it was so rough for Ryan Gerard that he made a putter switch midweek, which is always the sign that you probably don't have the right guy. So that wasn't my finest hour, but I would rather live with Ryan Gerard taking that amount of money that he made in the one and done rather than just getting punched directly in the nuts by a Shane Lowry ticket.
Yeah, that was rough. Let's do you have anything else on Shane Lowry, or should we get to some of the other winners for the week?
Just one other thing on Nico Echavarria. He drove it like dog shit. And I don't know if you've seen his stats from his rookie year on tour, but he won an opposite field event. And I think he missed 23 cuts otherwise his rookie year. He had like one of the worst pretty similar to Nick Dunlap, it feels like, where he, other than coming out and winning an event kind of out of nowhere, really had like the worst rookie year possible. But you get that 2-year exemption, and talk about like taking advantage of that 2-year exemption.
I think it was Brian Kirshner who tweeted about who had Nico Echavarria on his card at 72-1 pre-tournament. He did a little write-up in, I think, Golf Digest. They do each week. They pick a long shot. They pick this. They pick that. And he goes, Nico Echavarria is about as boom or bust as it gets. I think every tournament this year that he's played in, I had him in the one and done where he missed the cut when I was on my sick cut streak. But he has either gotten top 10 or he misses the cut. There's been no in between, and now he has a win. So it's kind of a crazy, just not a guy you can ever really bet on with confidence and have say he's in a certain form or he fits a certain golf course, because you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And so his rookie year of 2022, 2023, he won a tournament and somehow only made $1 million. Like, he missed 23 of 31 cuts, and he had one top 10, and that was his win at the Puerto Rico Open. So talk about just a fucking grind of a year. And, credit to him for sticking with it. Obviously, you have a 2-year exemption. You're going to see that through. The next year, then he made 18 of 30 cuts. He made $3.5 million in 24. Let's see last year. Last year, he made 19 of 27 cuts. So he is getting more consistent. I feel like this year's start, he's only made 2 of 6 cuts this year, but he has $2.2 million earned with that win this week. So that's pretty crazy. Boomer bust. Other than he's missed 4 cuts this year and has a T8 at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am and then a win. So just when you think, like we talked about last week, where golfers, you feel like they have to be in current form to win, he 100% bucks this trend and actually has changed the way I think about golf gambling. Like, maybe I need to start firing like Joe Highsmith in there. I need to start firing dudes. Who did I say? Austin Eckroat, who's missed like almost every cut. Garrick Higo, who's finished at the bottom of every leaderboard. They got to turn it around eventually, right?
You would think so. It's kind of unbelievable when a guy just has the ups and downs like that, where they can win tournaments. And clearly, Nico Echavarria has won 3 events, I think, in his PGA Tour career. So pretty impressive when you think about a younger dude that's won 3 times. Did you hear on the broadcast, his wife had to go close on their house right near the golf course on Friday, and as he's playing, and then he ends up like, can you imagine the feeling of that? Just going and getting a new house and having probably a massive mortgage. You're a millionaire. You should be a millionaire. You play professional golf, but then you go right after that 2 days later and cash a $1.4 million check. You're like, yep, this is good. I'll just pay that bad bitch off right now.
Yeah. And he said he also promised his wife a dog the next time he won.
Oh
So
shit, that's
yeah,
never
so
good.
now he's in the weeds. He's got the house, he's got the dog. I'm sure if he wins a major, it's going to be like kids. They're kids galore. So he's just going to start having to pump those out. But I truly cannot tell you the next time he's going to play well. I can tell you this: I don't think he's going to play that well at the Arnold Palmer. Just statistically speaking, it kind of feels like when you bet on Nico Echavarria, it's like sitting at a roulette table, and you got all of it on one number. There's either a chance it goes really well or a bit better chance it goes poorly. So, but credit to him, man. He was nails down the stretch, hit some really good shots. That iron shot, like I said, and then to bang that putt in on 17 was even more impressive.
Dude,
That was nails.
his level of pumped upness after he hit that was, I was like, whoa, and I don't know if he knew what was going on with Shane at that point. I mean, I think that at that point that tied him for the lead, correct? Shane would rinse that 10 seconds later. And also their mess on that hole created Shane Lowry to have to sit there and wait on the tee box for that golf shot on 17, which is not an easy one.
Not one you want to stare down for too long. But I did hear Nico said that the NBC people told Nico about what Shane Lowry did on the previous hole. I feel like that's a little snitchy on their part. If Nico wants to hunt down a leaderboard or ask his caddy or whatever, but the TV people are coming up and like giving him updates on the leaderboard, I feel like snitches kind of get stitches in that case. It's like, let him figure it out for himself, or because if he wouldn't have known that, and I don't know, I would assume there's a leaderboard there, but otherwise he would have definitely played the 18th probably a little bit more aggressively. He could have made birdie if he wanted to, but I just feel like at that point he kind of had it in the bag. But just Shane doubling 17 when he was still tied for the lead, he easily could have just parred 17, easier said than done, and birdied the very gettable 18th and still won the tournament, but just compounding massive mistake after massive mistake. It is shocking that a PGA Tour player is capable of that, but if it's anybody, it's Shane Lowry.
Yeah, he's not bucking any trends this week. Let's talk about the Korn Ferry Tour winner real quick, Alistair Docherty. Incredible story from this guy. Wasn't he a Barstool guy at one point, or Barstool?
He was sponsored by Barstool.
Okay, yeah, like bottom of the barrel, in the weeds, had to find money just to be able to play on any tour at all, and worked
Monday
his way
Q
all the way
Info
up.
raised money for him years ago to help him keep going because he was sleeping in his car and shit. So truly a comeback story. I think he missed his PGA Tour card last year by like a legitimate one stroke. So a dude that keeps getting beaten down and finally breaks through like that is truly a cool story.
Yeah, he won at the Jockey Club in the Argentina Open, the 117 Visa Argentina Open. These names are fucking hilarious to me. But he's now second on the Korn Ferry Tour points list for 2026. Obviously, very early, but looking to get maybe a full PGA Tour card for 2027. God, it's already insane to think about that. But it's just cool when you have, these stories that come out of nowhere, guys that just fought and fought and fought. And you know who got fourth, ironically, in this Korn Ferry Tour event this weekend? Taylor Montgomery.
A dude that's been on tour for years and years.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Ben Coles got sixth.
Yeah,
guys that have, it's crazy to just look at these guys that have played on the PGA Tour for so long, or
Bronson Burgoon, 15th.
Russell Knox, 22nd. Cameron Champ,
Del Solar,
25th.
Mr. 58. Yeah, Cam Champ.
Wait, how is Cameron Champ on the Korn Ferry Tour?
He lost his card last year. He played like complete dog shit.
Didn't he just win like not that long ago? Or
no, I think he won 3 years ago. So he had his 2-year exemption and then kind of ran out of
room there. Pissed it away, apparently.
Luke Guthrie, a guy that used to be on the PGA Tour, missed the cut this week.
Ryo Ishikawa, T64.
Ryo Ishikawa. James Nicklaus missed the cut. Now we're just reading a bunch of guys whose
who nobody fucking knows about or cares about.
Yeah, who had rough weeks. From what I heard, I guess this course is actually super sick, the Jockey Club down in Argentina. I'm sure it's pretty hit or miss with those in South America, other than it feels like Argentina is a little safer if you were to pick a South American country, you'd probably pick Argentina near the top of the list. So yeah, good for Alistair, man. That's really cool, and would love to see him get out on tour. And who was it this week? Ben Silverman was fourth alternate this week, or second alternate at the, I always call it the Honda because it used to be called the Honda, the Cognizant, and then ended up making the cut and making a check. So pretty cool. It's still kind of a Monday Q info thing where guys are somewhat last in the field and then end up going and having a decent week.
Well, the full story is he was the 13th alternate starting the week.
Oh my God.
Got all the way
like
down
flies.
got all the way down to the fourth alternate. And then since the PGA Tour is kind of obviously a brotherhood, a lot of the guys or talk to a lot of the guys, he was the fourth alternate going into Wednesday and knew that first, second, and third alternates were either at a Korn Ferry Tour event or out of the country or not on site. So knew he was ready. And I don't know if he showed up to the range and hit balls, and then Will Zalatoris withdrew. So he ends up playing the first two rounds with Brooks Koepka and Daniel Berger, and is like in a featured group. Like it goes from your 13th
I think he got
alternate
told
to a
like
featured
20
group.
minutes. Yeah, I think he got told like 20 minutes before the tee time that he was actually getting in, because Willie Z was a pretty late scratch. But for him to be in that featured pairing, like you said, and make the cut, it's good shit, man. It's not always about winning. It's about making the cut. They pay a lot for 45th place out there. So good for him. Should we touch on the, what was it, the South African Open this week?
Yeah, well, real quick, Will Zalatoris is making me sad. I love that guy, and I love to bet on him, and it feels like it's a not means to an end. I mean, he's so young that he could still get through it, but when you finally see him back in the field and you're like, hell yeah, Willie Z, and he's actually played really good at the Bear Trap a couple of times that he's played it, and now he withdraws last minute. You're like, God damn, dude, just get back healthy. Like, let's get this guy back on the golf course. Yeah, let's talk about Casey Jarvis. Back-to-back winner on the DP World Tour. Now he's third in the Race to Dubai standings. Patrick Reed looks like he's already kind of sewn that thing up, crazy enough. But Casey Jarvis's win this week, since it was the South African Open, guarantees him a spot in not only the Open Championship, but the Masters here coming up in 3 weeks, or not 4 weeks-ish, 4 weekends. So kind of insane for him. If he has any plans the second weekend of April, he's got to change those now, because he will be automatically invited to the Masters.
Yeah, I mean, really cool story. And honestly, stock up for Davis Bryant, because that's who he lost to last week. And then now the dude is on an absolute tear, going to the Masters, like you said. But did you see the final hole? Did you see any of the highlights? I think Jarvis topped his tee shot on 18 and somehow hit it in the middle of the green and made par. But he legitimately, I was trying to see if I actually watched it correctly, because the ball, they did a shot tracer on it and it like nosedived and then was immediately on the ground, like running down the fairway. And I think the commentator, the classic DP World Tour commentators, he's like, I think that one killed a couple of worms out there. And yeah, he hit a little bit of a worm burner, but still recovered and obviously went on to win. Have you ever had a tee shot that you felt like was going to be so good, or you just had no worries in the world, and then it the worst possible thing happens that could?
What do you think the answer to that is?
Well, I just want to hear one example, because I have one in mind as well.
Oh God, I don't know if I can remember one off the top of my head. I mean,
just one that just, sometimes you have an inkling that you're not going to hit a good tee shot and then you don't. But there's times where you have no outside negative thoughts, and all of a sudden pops up the worst golf swing you've ever made, similar to Shane Lowry.
Okay, well, it's a little bit of recency bias. I'm sure there's worse ones, but when I played a couple weeks ago with Mom and some other random people at Inverness, I was hitting the ball like a god the first couple of holes, and I was only hitting 3-wood off the tee, but I didn't miss a single shot until we get to 4, which is a semi-tough par 4, but kind of over the hill. I mean, I hit 3-wood into the greenside bunker. And I'm like, I am and these guys that I'm playing with, I just met them, an hour before that, but they're like, why don't you ever hit driver? And I'm like, well, it doesn't really call for it, especially on these first couple of holes. I don't really need it. So then I'm on 5. I'm like, all right, fuck yeah, I'm gonna hit driver and show them what I do. And then I fucking cold top it in the pond, and I was like, what the fuck?
You top driver into the
Yes.
pond.
Yes, I told you
Oh
I topped
my.
and then I started topping it like all around the fucker.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, your golf game is still just the world's greatest mystery to me. I'll never understand what physically happens to you. But I have one that sticks out in my mind. I was playing a high school tournament at Deer Creek, which is now condominiums.
God damn, that was a good golf course. I liked that trade.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. So I started the front 9 actually pretty solid. I think I shot like 1 under, and I'm a junior in high school, and I at the time, that was kind of forgot or territory that I was not familiar with. Unfamiliar territory. There we go. Somewhat unfamiliar territory. I'm bawling. I'm like, holy shit, this is going so well.
This is going absolutely every shot I'm hitting is exactly where I'm.
Exactly. So I make the turn at like 1 under, and then I make a couple loose swings here and there, and all of a sudden I'm like 1 over par, and I'm pissed off. I'm like, oh, thought I was going to get it under par, and now I'm back over par. And then 16, I think, is a par 5. And it was over there's like cattails in front of the tee box, and there was a bunker out there like 300 yards. And I know for a fucking fact at 16 years old, I was not hitting it 300 yards. But I was like, I'm going to hit 3-wood. The other guys, I was peer pressured by the other guys in my group hitting 3-wood. I was like, yeah, I hit as far as then. I'm going to hit 3-wood. And there's these cattails standing up like 7 or 8 feet tall in front of the tee box. Not a thought about it. Not a single thought in my mind. I hit this 3-wood a groove thin, and just poof, a fucking cattail explodes. My ball drops right in front of the tee box. All of a sudden, my life flashes before my eyes. I'm like, did that ball just drop 20 yards in front of the fucking tee? So then I re-tee it. I hit driver. I think I end up making like triple bogey and shooting like 77. And I've never been more down on golf. No, I take that back. There's been plenty other times I've been that down, but that was my first real taste of like, you had a pretty decent round in your grips, and one loose swing and poof, it's fucking gone. So that's just one tee shot where it has truly lived with me, where if there's anything 10 feet in front of the tee that I can hit, I think twice about it after that. Kind of like when I got hit in the face with a golf ball. It's just, I have a little bit of PTSD. I'm like, I am not standing anywhere near the area that I could possibly take one in the face. So pretty similar tee shot to that 3-wood, just fucking blowing up that cattail.
Oh, I'll also real quick before we get to Mulligan Monday, shout out to your guy Ryan Gerard hitting a bird, Randy Johnson status this week.
Dude,
Insane.
Oh yes, we got to talk about that a little bit, because Smiley Kaufman said the bird was reported to be alive, and I don't see how that's possible. That thing got blown to smithereens. And the craziest part is the fucking golf ball still went on the green to like 12 feet.
Yeah.
And I think at the time, Ryan Gerard hadn't made a single birdie. So he had legitimately hit more birds than he had birdies on his round at that point. And I mean, I always think back to the sports science episode where they legitimately could not recreate it in a lab. So the fact that he did that is billions to one, like absolute insanity. And I showed Missy that, and of course she's like, oh, the poor bird. I'm like, fuck that bird. That bird, you got to be aware of your surroundings. If you see little white golf balls flying through the air, head on a swivel. Like, that's just, you get to live down in Florida on a nice golf course. It's the risk of the job. What is that? My brain is not fully clicking today.
Yeah, you got casino sim brain. All
yeah.
right, let's get this to one of our favorite segments of the week. It is
Bing bong.
Mulligan Monday. Mulligan Monday. I'll start us off this week. This is actually a mulligan for another person that I saw. So I went to the gym this morning pretty early, and there was a couple walking in front of me going into the gym as well. and the guy's holding the door open for his girl, and it's like kind of way early, still pretty dark, and he like drops the door and drills her with it. And I was like, oh my God, dude, your whole day, your whole week, your whole month, you're fucked. You are fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not going to live that one down. But what are your thoughts on working out with your significant other? Have you ever had like, I've had girlfriends that I spend time with, and probably now more than ever, we spend a lot of time together, but I don't think I would want to go to the gym with my significant other, because dudes' eyes are just wandering at all times, and there's a really good chance that other guys are checking out your significant other. And of course, you're not doing any of that. I usually walk around staring at the ground at the gym. I never look at anybody.
I wear a blindfold, actually. So.
Oh, okay. I wear a whole fucking cover over my head.
A bag on my head like I'm about to go to the guillotine.
Exactly.
No, I don't mind it. We've gone to the gym a couple times together. I don't know. To me, it's like if I can be helpful to her and she wants to work out, and I have some stuff that I normally do pretty consistently, I'm fine with it. But I'm also not like I'd rather us like go to the gym together, use the kids thing that we pay for, and drop our kid off and work out, and then but do our own thing in the gym, and then be like, okay, we'll meet here in 45 minutes. Like I don't know. I like working out with other people, but to me it's just I like to do my own thing. If I'm out of there, I'm out of there. If I want to do 10 more of this, like I'm so just all over the place that I don't like working out with really anyone.
But what if then your wife thinks you're a huge beta pussy because she sees you throw 2 25-pound weights on the end of the bench press and put that shit up 12 times? Like, what if you're not pushing big enough weight and all of a sudden your wife is like, who did I marry?
I don't think she's really dialed in on the weight scenario. Speaking of that, real quick story. There's a guy that works for ESPN Radio in Milwaukee, and he shits on Caleb Williams all the time for being a feminine or whatever, painting his nails. This guy did his own videotape, like it's the hype thing when the combine's going on. Everybody wants to do their own combines. This guy couldn't put up 95 on the bench once.
Oh my God.
And he's
man card revoked.
Yeah, and he's not little. Like looked to me, I don't know how tall he is, but it looked to me like he was 6 foot and 170, 180 pounds at least. And he could
95 pounds.
Yes, he had 25 on each side of the bench and could not put it up off his chest.
You better have like 2 torn rotator cuffs if you can't get 95.
I thought the same thing, dude. I thought the same thing. I was like, that's absurd. I could do that, 30 times ish. And I'm not even like, I get dwarfed by 90% of the dudes in my gym, like
100%. So my Mulligan Monday was I got a little too drunk Friday night. I was drunk. I was drinking away the Nuggets, pissing me off because Friday night was my ultimate peak of, they're just so disappointing right now. It's like an angry.
I'm considering not watching the game tonight. That's
I honestly, I feel no desire to watch it, and we should win by 20. And I feel like we're going to win by 7, and it's just going to piss me off even more. So I am out on that. But then, so I did bet, I drunk bet $200 on Thunder money line. And then I cashed it out early when I thought the Nuggets were making a comeback because I didn't want to root against my team. So I made like $100 there. And then when I could have made $250 on their live money line. And then I doubled down, put it all on Timberwolves yesterday, and hate watched that. And honestly, the Nuggets have affected my relationship. Like I legitimately, I get angry at my girlfriend for no reason, and it's all due to the Nuggets. Like, and I actually realize that, but in my head, I'm like stewing about shit. And it's just at the base of it, it's just the Nuggets just fucking being so disappointing that I had some scary hours yesterday afternoon, early evening after the Nuggets lost and there's nothing else on TV. It was a Sunday afternoon. I was like, holy shit, this is the lowest of the low for me. Partially because her and I put a future bet on the Nuggets, and I just felt so good about us going into this year. And hey, it's a mid-season lull. It's a long regular season. We got to sort it out. I am not optimistic at this point, but I also feel like I'm kind of indirectly losing her money because I told her to bet on this and it's probably not going to hit. So I'm like, she thinks I'm a fucking idiot. I think I'm an idiot. I think David Adelman's an idiot. So it came full circle, but I've realized that sports probably, I don't think anything makes me more emotional than sports in like an anger way. I don't get as angry about anything as I get about sports. And that's probably not a healthy place to be in.
No,
or my life is just so good that I have nothing else to be angry about besides my team sucking.
Yeah. That's the highs and lows of sports, I guess. That's why I love golf. That's why I love sports. Just you ride the roller coaster, but the highs are so high that you just chase it, but you can't control it in that realm, which that's what sucks. I'm like, I can't control any of this, but I'm so mad.
Oh, dude, absolutely. And I will say too, quickly before we round this out here, when your team wins a championship, you so take it for granted. It's almost like relieving. You're almost like, oh, wow, like not so thankful. You almost expect it. And then it totally ruins your mentality around those teams.
Yeah.
And so the Nuggets, they have no choice but to disappoint me, because the only thing that wouldn't disappoint me would be a championship.
Yeah.
And same with the Avalanche these last few years. It's the same shit. So now they've set this precedent, and I just have to realize that they're not going to win a championship every year, but the Nuggets do need to win. Jokic has got to win another title. And if the Nuggets do not win another title during his career, it is complete malpractice and should be looked at as a black eye on the organization that we only won one with possibly the best big man to ever play the game.
100%. 100%. Well, that wraps it up for us on this Monday edition of Big Drive Energy. We'll be back Wednesday early. Wednesday, we're going to be a nice little noon kickoff, noon Eastern kickoff for our early show, previewing the Arnold Palmer. Another signature event coming up. Should be a stacked field of tee times and stuff already came out. So we'll get into all of that on Wednesday. Appreciate you guys all tuning in to Big Drive Energy. Make sure you follow us on all the socials at Big Drive Energy Golf on Instagram, Big Drive Energy on TikTok and Twitter. Appreciate you tuning in. Talk to you then. Peace.